Steve Summers back in the building. He hasn't been here since a while, 6-7 weeks. So he's back. I can verify I saw him. So he's actually here. Harvey's having some trouble. A couple guys on base. Let's see if this is a sac fly here. No, he didn't go. He tagged up. He didn't go. So the second, third one out, and they had a sac fly, and he didn't go. So it's still 4-2. But he's had a lot of guys on base. He hasn't pitched that well. Mets are down 12-0. Guerrero's kid, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., today in Double-A. Was he 4 for 4 with a homer today? Not a bad day. Ian in the Bronx, what's up, Ian? Yes, Ian, what's up?
Hi, Mike.
Yes.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. What's happening?
You think that sports betting being legalized now could potentially bring back Atlantic City?
One more time.
Hi, Mike. Welcome back, by the way.
What's happening?
You think that sports betting being legalized now could potentially bring back Atlantic City? One more time.
Guys, there's something going on, and I'm going to hear this call for the third time. I mean, so something's going on, all right? Ryan in Massapequa, what's up, Ryan?
Hey, Mike, what's going on? I was listening to a caller that called before about the Mets and their next steps. I think what's going to be most difficult for the organization and even for the fans is to accept that we're going into a rebuilding stage. I don't really
think they're going to admit to that. I think people who think they're going to do that are wrong. I don't see them doing that. I don't see them trading off DeGrom and Syndergaard right now. I don't see they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to admit that they're out of it. I can't see them doing that.
Even at the end of the season, though, I mean, we don't know how the Mets are going to finish, but it does not look good at this point.
But why would you take? What makes you think they're going to trade Syndergaard and DeGrom off?
Well, they could not this season, but I mean, even at the end of the season, why not? I mean, if the Mets end,
because they're 20-something years, because they're 25 years old, and you could also go the route of trying to build a team around those two guys.
Yeah, that is true, but but even look at Syndergaard. I mean, Syndergaard is not reliable. I mean, I think we've seen enough of Syndergaard where his approach to pitching is throwing the ball. I don't look at Syndergaard as much of a pitcher. I look at him as a thrower, and I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. I mean, I think we've seen enough of him where I was at the game last night, and it took him about a half hour to get through like an inning. It's painful to watch Syndergaard pitch because it takes him so long. For the Mets, I think they have to start with a clean slate. I know you may disagree, but
I just don't know if they're going to go that route and be so defined about it, where they're just going to say, "All right, we're rebuilding now." That's going to be a very tough thing. It's going to be very hard on their business. I just don't know that they'll go with that route, because what are they going to do? To do that and then trade DeGrom, or Syndergaard, then trade Cespedes, and then start just dealing players off and build around what?
Well, that's why. But isn't this why we hired Omar Minaya? Because now we got to start looking at
you've hired Omar Minaya to add talent to the organization every year, every single year. You still have draft picks every year, no matter where you draft, and you still want to build the draft without. The Yankees just did it, and they didn't go break the team down to nothing, and they rebuilt the team. I mean, they did it.
Yeah. No, they did. They did. I just think that we have to look at this team now, and if it takes 3 or 4 years to rebuild this team again, because I just don't see in the next 2 years. You look at this year, you look at next year. As you said many times, the team is old, and the pitching staff gets hurt. For the exception of DeGrom, who's been consistent the last couple of years, the pitching staff has consistently gotten hurt. And maybe you can make the argument that we could build around DeGrom. But Syndergaard, again, he's gotten hurt, and I don't look at him.
Syndergaard had. Listen, Syndergaard. Now the pitching coach turned around and backed off his statement. Okay, so he didn't want to own up to the statement. He kind of backed off it as to what he was saying and what he meant. In his comment about how Syndergaard hadn't accomplished anything. Syndergaard last year. Now, he can do better, there's no question. But last year, I mean, he pitched well last year. I mean, this year he's 3-1 with a 3.1 ERA. That's not good for him, but that's not bad for most, normal pitchers. It's just not Syndergaard like. Last year, you saw a lot of promise in Syndergaard. I mean, the guy won 14 games. He had a 2.6 ERA. He threw 183 innings. He struck out 218 batters. His whip was 1.1. He was one of the more impressive pitchers around last year. That was good. Those were very good numbers. I mean, that's a good season he had last year. You know, he pitched almost 200 innings. He struck out a lot of guys, but he can do better. He can be an ace. You know, I know this year, Terry Collins said to me, Mike, I really believe Syndergaard will win the Cy Young next year. That's what he told me in December when I saw him. Last time I saw him. He said to me, I think Syndergaard will. So a lot of guys were expecting very big things from him this year. And so far, he has not produced it. Now, they also were trying to be very, very cautious with these two pitches. But you can't have the Mets be any good. Now, last night they won. The Mets are 3-8 in record in the games Syndergaard and DeGrom have started in their last 11 starts. 3-8. That's not good. You can't win that way. Vinny in Staten Island. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
I just wanted to comment on LeBron real quick in this series. I know it's tough to say the series is over because, in my opinion, the Cavs do have the best player to ever play the game. But they just look outclassed. The Celtics are so much more athletic and fast. And I don't think it matters either way, Mike, because I don't think anybody even stands a chance against Golden State.
They don't. Nobody's going to beat them.
Mike, have you ever seen one guy do as much for one team and almost basically still get the blame when his team loses?
Well, I think people expect so much. I mean, you had a point last night where Mark Jackson said, hey, LeBron he has got to be more forceful in this game. What do you want the man to do? The guy wound up with 40 points and a triple-double. What do you want him to do? You want him to score 60 points? I mean, what is it exactly you want the guy to do? Well, I mean, it just gets crazy. The rest of the team did absolutely nothing. The guy took 29 shots. How many shots do you want him to take? He made 16 for 29. He had 10 rebounds and 12 assists. He scored 42 points. What do you want the man to do? Score 50 every game? I mean, you know, it gets to the point of being ludicrous. I mean, whenever there's a lull, LeBron's got to pick it up. He's got to pick it up. He came out and dominated the whole game, and he dominated the whole first quarter, and they still were only up 4 points. The team can't play any defense. They were out-toughed at every other position, out-toughed by a mile. I mean, they did a terrible job themselves. They did a terrible job on defense. They did a terrible job against Smart. They did a terrible job last night against Brown. They did a terrible job against Horford. I mean, it was just awful what they did last night there. And, you know, J.R. Smith hasn't made a shot in 2 games. He's in one of those funks right now. I mean, it's virtually the way they're built right now. It's very hard for them to win. And I'll tell you, as I said, before the series started, first of all, I told you that I thought the Celtics could win the series when people were giving them no chance after what happened against Toronto, and people all thought Toronto was going to beat them. And when Toronto did, everyone thought they weren't going to lose. This is a matchup because Celtics could play defense. Toronto couldn't. Indiana could play defense, and that's what caused Indiana to give Celtics a lot of trouble, to give the Cavs a lot of trouble. Cavs right now don't have guys who are going to give a lot of effort and play a lot of defense, and Boston's doing that. But this series is not over because I think it'll be 2-2 because LeBron will go crazy in the first game back with 4 days rest on Saturday. He'll go crazy in Game 3. The Celtics won't come from behind there on the road. It'll be two games to 1. Game 4 will be close. Cleveland will win it, and they'll go back. They'll probably get blown out in Game 5. He'll win Game 6, and then it'll be Game 7. And I hope Boston wins. Drew in Long Beach, what's up, Drew?
Mike, welcome back.
Thank you.
In Long Island, we're so happy. I think you actually went to high school with a family friend of mine, Joe Mango. But 2 things.
Went to school with my brother.
Went to school. Got it. He always talks about you. Anyway, 2 things. I think I have my pick for the best sports writer in America, something I know you know a lot about. I think it's Jack Dickey of Sports Illustrated. Do you read anything by him?
All right, so I don't even know. No, I don't know Jack Dickey. I don't even remember seeing Jack Dickey in the Sports Illustrated. If there is a guy there, I apologize. Is there? I don't know him. No. That's like a new guy at Sports Illustrated, so I don't know him. I thought Gary Smith, he might be a friend of yours, and if he's at Sports Illustrated, he can write. I thought the best guy writing long features was Gary Smith, who I've known for many years. I thought he did those long takes that were great. I think Frank DeFord was very good at that, too. He was a very good writer, obviously. They had plenty of very good writers at Sports Illustrated through the years, but those two I thought wrote the big pieces, the long pieces, very, very well. Both Gary and Frank DeFord both did. Bob in Monticello, what's up, Bob?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
What's happening?
I want to ask about LeBron. Watching the game last night, I mean, he could have scored 20 more points, but come on, even that might not have done it. But it did make me realize that I'm a Laker fan. I don't particularly like Kobe, but it seems like Kobe, in fairness, and I'm not a fan, was the last guy to really win a championship where basically he was the only guy. Pau Gasol was pretty good.
Please.
Andrew Bynum.
They won that series without Kobe doing anything in those games. Those guys, Pau Gasol was great in that series. I mean, they won.
Kyrie Irving, great.
Kyrie Irving's very good. He's a terrific player. Yes. What is that? But LeBron was scoring more than Kyrie Irving. I mean, I'm talking about Pau Gasol did a tremendous job in that series. Tremendous.
He was great. I just mean, it's last night. It's definitive. One guy can't win it anymore.
Can't win a championship. Not against four guys. Listen, when they play Golden State,
8 guys.
Forget Boston. They can beat Boston. They might and they might not, but they can beat Boston. They can't beat Golden State because the closest thing you have to matching up to LeBron in this league is Durant. And Durant's the second best player. And then the next 3 players in the games are all on Golden State. So that's the end of it. Because if LeBron gets 35, Durant's going to get 32. If LeBron gets 40, Durant's going to get 36. So they are going to be that close. With that being the case, there's too much other firepower where LeBron can't match up with against Golden State. Somebody just homered off Harvey. I don't know who was it? Belt? Okay, so 4-3. It's the third inning. He's got 1 out into the third. He had a 4-0 lead. This is the Harvey you didn't want to see. I want to see what he did after the game against the Dodgers. What did you say? Put on channel 40? Okay. Put on channel 40. All right. What channel? Come in and do it. It's not going. It's not working anyway. What do you want me to see? He wants me to see something. Just put it on here. What am I looking at? What is it, Chris?
With 2 outs, they've decided to re-dirt the entire diamond with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
This isn't the Met game. Where is the Met game? With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, they decided to do the field?
Yep.
Oh, man. You know, if I'm the manager, I'd be out there throwing stuff. It's 12-1. There's 2 out in the 9th, and they decide to redo the field? I mean, what are you thinking? You've played in rain the whole game. It was raining so hard in the 3rd inning, it was ridiculous. There's 2 out in a 12-1 game. Look at him. He's saying, come on. They're yelling out of the Toronto dugout. They decide to put the whole grounds crew out there, and they put down the stuff all over the field. Look at the pitcher saying to the umpire, are we kidding here? They decide to do the whole field with 2 out in a 12-1 game? Wait a second. They're opening up bags. What are you doing? There's 2 outs in the 9th. Now the manager's coming out. He's right. He's saying, what the heck are we doing here? John Gibbons is going crazy. What the heck is the home plate umpire doing? Get him off the field. And the Mets can't even do that. They can't even do rain right. You know, come on. This is ridiculous. Look at him. The umpires, this is ridiculous. Come on. You can't order that. You're running a game or not. You're out of your mind. You let him play in this slop. Now you're worried about it? If I'm Gibbons, you know what? I know he's laughing. It's 12-1. I'd be mad at the umpires, too. What kind of fool umpires let them do that when it's 12-1? They've been playing in the driving rain for 3.5 hours. Now you're worried about player safety? Who hit a home run? Nimmo? Nimmo hit a home run down 12-0 into the left field seats. All right, good for him. This is a 5 or 6 minute delay with 2 out in the 9th inning at 12-1. The game has been played in the rain the entire game. Look, Toronto's like, now they started laughing. Now they're just laughing in the dugout. I mean, how ridiculous is this? Throw the ball over the plate. Flores hits one in the corner for a double. Now come out and do the field again. The Mets can't even do rain right. What it comes down to. Get the game over with. It's 12-1. Corey in Bergenfield. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
So this LeBron thing.
What is the LeBron thing?
The whole LeBron, and I'm never one. I think it's impossible to compare.
Right, but what is? I just want you to tell me what the thing is. I don't know what the thing is.
The crew that loves him like you do, and the crew that doesn't. There's clearly a
you're telling me there's somebody who can detract on his ability?
No one can detract from his greatness, Mike.
Okay.
But if you were to, he's Ray Allen and Kyrie Irving. If they don't hit those 2 shots, he has won championship.
That's, you know what, that you can't, sports doesn't work that way. It does not work that way, because I could go back and redefine a lifetime of that for every player who ever lived. Okay, you cannot do sports that way.
Here's the other thing. How come when he wins, okay, it's all him, and when he loses,
no one ever said it was all him.
Well, no, he won.
He had Kyrie Irving. He had Dwayne Wade. No one ever said it was all him. And he should have won 3 out of 4 in Miami. He was bad. He went to Miami, and he didn't know how to deal with leaving Cleveland, and he was in a funk for 2 years. And those were the worst 2 years of his life, and he did a terrible job those 2 years. I mean, the first to admit it. He left Cleveland terribly. He was in a funk for 2 years. It took him 2 years to get out of it.
Yeah, I feel like no one gets the credit when he wins.
Well, wait a second. When have you ever seen anybody do what he does? Guy plays both ends of the floor, puts up 40 points, gets 12 assists. He's the best, as Mark Jackson said last night, best passing forward you've ever seen. The only guy I could even put in the same league with him is Rick Barry. The guy is incredible at what he does. Incredible.
Mike, one last thing. Did Jordan ever check out of those playoff games where he didn't want to shoot the ball, didn't want to?
Wait a second. This guy averages over 30 points for a game. This guy averages over 30. Listen, Corey, you're a Jordan lover and a LeBron hater because you don't want anybody to be near Jordan.
Checked out. He didn't want the ball.
Wait a second.
Jordan ever do that?
Wait a second. You think this guy is not one of the immortal players of all time?
Mentally weaker than Jordan.
Corey, this guy is an incredible player. He does things that Michael Jordan never dreamed of doing on the court.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree with you.
So then why knock him? To knock him, you sound like an idiot. If you knock this guy on the basketball floor, you sound like a fool. Okay? That's how good he is. You sound stupid if you were going to detract from what this man does on the floor. You might wait 20 years to see somebody do this again. You might never see anybody do this again. I'm not knocking Michael Jordan's greatness. Michael Jordan was one of the great competitors, and he was a great scorer. But that's what he did. He scored. And, there were many games, and I was at them, where Michael Jordan would shoot until his arms fell off, and he'd be shooting 32% for the game. But you know what? He'd scored his points, and he won. He didn't shoot 50% every game. He shot and he shot and he shot until it went in, and it went in. Hey, listen, he is not the late game shooter that Jordan is. I'm not saying he is. He's not the late game shooter that Jerry West was. But his ability at all parts of the game are incredible. So the track to try and pick at this guy at this point, when you watch him go out there at this age, play both ends of the floor, get a triple-double and get 42 points, you're going to knock him? Shooting 50% from the floor. He's getting 42 points. He plays defense, and he gets 10 rebounds and 12 assists, and you're going to knock him. Crazy. Frank in Staten Island. What's up, Frank?
Hey, Mike. What's going on?
What's happening?
These LeBron haters are unbelievable, I got to tell you. My point is, what was I going to say? So the Cavs roster is absolutely dreadful. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can make that argument.
Not only that, they don't play hard.
You got to, Mike. You got to figure LeBron's leaving next year. He's got to. There's no shot for him to win a championship there.
Never win another championship there. I agree, and that's some of his doing too. Okay, so I blame him as a general manager for that. But if he wants to win another championship, which I would think is his motivation, because I guess that's his only motivation, is to win some more championships. What else is he playing for? I guess he's playing for because he likes to play. Because I think he obviously enjoys playing, but. I mean, the idea is to win championships. He can't win a championship there. So I don't know where he's going. I have no idea. But he's not winning a championship there. And they don't even play hard. I mean, that is a ragtag bunch. Let's be honest. Chris in Mattawan. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, I mean, talking about the NBA and these really upper echelon teams, I'm thinking about the Knicks. And, I know they've been horrible for 20 years, and I know that they're far away. But when you really think about it, they're even further away than that. I mean, the NBA is a boom or bust league. With this draft coming up, I mean, what this boils down to is you got to pick 2-3 top, pick drafts and be perfect on them, then bring free agents in. And even still, you're pretty far out there. I mean, look at Golden State. I mean, they're head and shoulders. We're talking about the Boston and Cleveland. We're talking LeBron. But how good is Golden State? And it just makes you, as a Knicks fan.
Hey, I'd like to see Klay Thompson play with LeBron. And then let's play that series. And I think it would be a great series. But, I mean, that's what it would take. You would have to take him off the team. And,
I'm almost wondering if Boston might not be a better matchup because...
Oh, I think they are a better matchup. I think they... listen, it's not... Listen, they might not win a game, but the games will be better. The problem with Boston is LeBron's going to have a game where he just dominates the whole game and scores 45 or 50 and they'll win. I don't know if Boston's going to have that. They might lose in 4 straight. But let them go to the finals. I'd rather see them go to the finals. I don't need to see LeBron go there and score 40 points and lose, because that's what's going to happen.
But you know what, everyone, all these calls coming in, right, is how bad his supporting cast is. I mean, I think what would happen is what happened last year. I mean, LeBron, his greatness can't be contested, but he's just going to get swallowed up. I'd like to see if someone's going to challenge, really challenge the Warriors. And I was dumb enough to think that Houston had a chance after that game one. I guess not, but... I mean, at least Boston will get in their face, and some of the guys are not big.
They can't score well enough. They'll get destroyed. They'll get destroyed. Let's be honest. Hey, Durant is tremendous. He's the second best player in the sport. They have a lot of guys who can shoot the three. They are overwhelming favorites right now. Put Irving and Hayward and Tatum get a year older, and then let's watch Boston. But Boston this year. If they won more than one game, that would be impressive. It'd be hard for them to win more than one game.
They got some good point guards, though, even though without Irving. And they're going to have a glut, which is a good problem, I guess. But
they can't
I'm wondering
score,
if these kids aren't more. Well, they can't score, but they're hard-nosed. I mean, you got to take this team out of the rhythm. That's the best thing you can do.
Very hard-nosed, but you need a great scorer. And they don't have one. Gabe joins us. What's up, Gabe?
Hey, Mike. Welcome back. Before I make my next point, you got to be happy with this bad weather. At least you're not missing out on the golf course now that you're back.
That's true.
I got to tell you, kind of contrary to what the caller said a couple of calls ago, I'm really bullish on the Knicks. I think the greatest success that they've had was under Donnie Walsh when they really tried to clear out this cap and they really tried to create a culture. And I think Perry has been very direct in saying that, they're not going to take any big contracts until the Noah deal's out in 2 years. They're going to build through the draft, and they're not going to tie up any long-term contracts. I don't think they're going to go after DeMarcus Cousins. They're not going to trade for DeMar DeRozan. I mean, these guys are going to be on the market.
I don't like their players, though.
Yeah, I don't like them either. You don't like the players they have right now?
No, I like Porzingis. I don't like any of their other players.
But you gotta like the philosophy because
I like the philosophy, but you know what? I don't think Moutier is a good player.
No.
I can't stand Hardaway.
Frank's going to be good.
Who's going to be good?
Frank, the
point guard.
Kid.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he is. I hope you're right. I haven't seen enough yet to say that he is. I think he can play defense. I just don't know if he's got an offensive game.
Instinct.
He's got great instinct. I got to see him more. I'll give him another year. I don't like Hardaway. I don't like Moutier. I don't like Hardaway. I don't like either one.
Right.
I think they got a couple of role players that are okay. I'm not.
What do you think
that.
about Perry, though? What do you think about
I like
Curry?
those
It's a good
guys.
film.
I like them.
Yeah.
I like him. I like the coach, but I don't know the coach very well. But I thought the coach made a lot of sense, and everybody's talked very highly of him.
With you.
Yeah,
great interview.
Yeah, I like talking to him. I like his attitude. I mean, I know if he's brought up on the Riley, how he's brought up. But I think they need a lot of talent. I think they've been so beat up at the point guard for so long. I got to see much better there. I'm not a Hardaway fan, so I think they got a lot of work to do. And listen, I think one thing about basketball is you get Porzingis healthy and hit one guy in the draft who's pretty good, like Mitchell was this year, and you can turn your whole team around. That can happen. Back after this.
The FIFA World